Now, as it pertains to Major League Baseball league-wide.
I think we're going to be a little bit biased here, but this should be fun. It's bold predictions for MLB starting right now.
You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, my name is Kevin Weiss.
I'm Ulises Sambrano.
And we're the host of the Locked On Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you for making us your very first listen every day. Be sure you check out and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Locked On Rays, as well as all the other traditional podcasting platforms. And as always, you can send us a email or voice memo to lockedonrays@gmail.com. And follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Locked On Rays. All right, Ulises, let's get right into it. Bold predictions. And I am chomping at the bit to hear what your bold prediction is, not necessarily for the Rays, but league-wide.
I have a question before we start. How many bold predictions do you have?
I just have one big bold prediction, and then I know we have some audience interaction as well. So I would run through those as my honorable mentions, if you will. How many do you have? Do you just have a running tag? Okay.
I have two. I'll go with the smaller of the two first. I think the Boston Red Sox will go from having 78 wins to sub 70.
Ooh, okay.
I think this roster is it's primed to be just selling parts at the trade deadline. It just seems that way. It screams that way. Justin Turner, come on. He's gone. He's gone out of there. What can you expect from Chris Sale? Really? I mean, Pivetta, what can they expect from him? You have Jackie Bradley Jr. I don't see a lot of oomph, in that Boston Red Sox team. I think they are worse. They don't even have Trevor Story anymore. So who do they have covering shortstop right now? Like Christian Arroyo? Really? That's going to be your he wasn't even good enough to be in the team for the Rays in 2018.
Right.
Remember that? Like he couldn't even get playing time back then. So you're telling me that this is their starting shortstop? I don't see how this team wins 70 games, honestly.
It's a very uninspiring roster, and say that the Red Sox don't win 70 games. Does that mean that Chaim Bloom gets canned?
That was going to be the bold prediction, but I lowered it to just the win total. I was going to say that Chaim is going to get the boot. I think he gets one more year, bro. That's it.
Okay.
They don't have that much patience up there in Boston for this kind of idea that he wants to do for Boston to
can't have a 5-year rebuild with the Red Sox.
No,
1-2 years really at the most.
Yeah. So I think they're trying to be patient. I think the ownership is trying, but the fandom is giving them no slack whatsoever. It could happen. I mean, I could see how if this team ends up with a 65 win total in 2023, the Red Sox are just forced to let Chaim Bloom go. I could see that. But I don't think they will. And I don't think they should. I think, if you want to go through a process and change the franchise, it's going to take time.
Right. And you even mentioned, you mentioned up the middle with Christian Arroyo and can't even play shortstop coherently. Behind the plate, they no longer have Christian Vasquez, a stalwart there. It's Reese McGuire and Connor Wong.
I just go through the Devers. It's the Boston Devers. That's basically what really. Yeah. I mean, what do you? They want Tristan Casas to kind of come up big with the bat, so maybe he can do something. But honestly, I just don't see this Red Sox team being more than selling the veterans that they do have at the deadline for some pieces, which could be a pretty good idea, for Chaim to just load on prospects. And then kind of do that. So that's my first big bold prediction.
I like it. If it means the Red Sox struggling, I am on board with that 100%. I have no issue with that.
So that's my bias bold prediction.
And it just seems like, I mean, the energy in the room there just has to be at a terrible low right now. Like losing Xander Bogaerts among the other moves and maneuvers and failures, it's just not a good look going into spring training. Like there's not that enthusiasm, that umph that you would want as a team and as a fan base, quite frankly.
Yeah. So I just don't see it. Now, my biggest prediction is that Shohei Otani will get traded at the he will get traded at the deadline. I just don't. First of all, I don't trust in the Angels anymore. I feel like they've made it very easy for all of baseball fans to just not trust. And I know we all have gotten the inkling of like, oh man, but this year might be the year with the Angels go off. I've stopped that thought for like the last 5 years. Like, no, show me that you can do it. And then we can start believing in you. You can't just believe in somebody that just doesn't come through time and time again. Like, come on.
Yeah.
So that's the Angels. So I don't trust them. Which means that they're not, in my perspective, I don't think they're going to have a positive 2023. However, they do have the best all-around talent, the freakish baseball player that we've ever seen in Shohei Otani. You're telling me that an Angels team that is not performing well is going to keep Shohei Otani and not trade him for prospects? I know it would only be a rental, but a rental for Shohei Otani for 2 months is going to net you good prospects. Like I don't care what you say. Oh, it's only no. It's a different kind of. If Nelson Cruz at 41 nets you Joe Ryan and company, I think Drew. I'm blanking on his name. Sorry, Drew.
Drew Strotman.
Thank you. Drew Strotman and Joe Ryan. You net those two guys. You're telling for Nelson Cruz at 41 for a rental. What can Shohei Otani get you? I mean, it's going. I don't see how he doesn't get traded at the deadline. You have to do that if you're the Angels GM. You have to do that. You cannot just say, well, our ticket sales are going to take a hit. It doesn't matter, man. It doesn't matter. Like those 2 months of ticket attendance going down does not make up for the prospects that you would be losing if you don't trade Shohei Otani.
Could you trade Mike Trout and keep Shohei Otani? But you would actually have to make sure that Otani's going to stay with you and unlock and set down the Brinks truck for him. So that's another factor as well. So, but you mentioned he will be traded. Do you have an inkling as to where he would wind up? Would it be the Dodgers? Would it be the Mets? Would it be the Yankees? Would it be the Cardinals? Would it be the Padres?
Unfortunately for Rays fans and for small market teams, I don't think he would be going to a small market team. Because the money that he's owed. I think his last arbitration year went for 28 mil. I think 28 to 30. So let's just say 30 for rounding sakes. That's a lot to pay for 2 months. Not 30. Obviously, it's going to be prorated for 2 months. But so they have to have money. So small market teams might be on the outs, and they have to have really good prospects. So it's in that in between. Can you pay the money for Shohei Otani? Plus, do you have a good farm system? That's going to be the trick. Now, if I want to think positively and say, hey, you know what? The Rays only spent $11 million in free agency. They argued for $3 million for arbitration. They're just waiting for the right candidate. Oh, Shohei Otani is available at the trade deadline. They go for Shohei, and they have the prospects. You can think that way. I just don't see that happening. I think it's going to be a team like the Padres or the Mets that are able to do that. I don't think their farm system is anywhere near of the quality that the Rays are. But they have guys that pull the trigger. The Rays just don't pull the trigger like that.
Right. Now I've heard rumors that wherever Otani winds up, that the team in return gets a lifetime supply of Built Bars. I've heard that across the grapevine.
you might not be Shohei Otani, but you can get as many Built Bars as you want if you go to your local Sam's Club or Walmart. In fact, if you go to your nearest Walmart today, you walk to the pharmacy section and you can grab yourself a box of Built Bars. It could be cookies and cream, double chocolate, coconut puffs, whatever you want. And if you go to Sam's Club, same thing. You can grab a 13-bar box with brownie batter if that's what you like. But again, just remember, Built Bars, you don't want the fat and calories, but you get a delicious treat. Okay, that's what you get. And you also get 100% real chocolate in all of the Built Bars. That is 100% true. Only 130 calories and 4 grams of sugar and a whopping 17 grams of protein. So today, go to Built.com. Or if you don't want to wait around, go to your nearest Walmart or Sam's Club and get yourself a box of Built Bars today.
Okay, my bold prediction. You mentioned the Boston Red Sox winning fewer than 70 games in 2023.
Yes. Yeah.
Maybe a team that could swap and steal some of those wins is the Baltimore Orioles, and maybe enough wins to, again, it is expanded playoffs nowadays. Heck, the Rays with 86 wins made the playoffs. Let's not forget, the Baltimore Orioles went 83-79 last year. I mean, they were playing legit meaningful baseball in September, mid-September, late September. I don't know the exact date that they were officially eliminated, but they were, it was as close to playoffs as they've been since 2016. So that is my bold prediction, is that the Baltimore Orioles find a way somehow, some way to make the playoffs. I'm not suggesting or saying that they're today a playoff caliber team, but that doesn't mean they can't sneak in one way or the other. And depending on how things go the first couple months of the season, maybe they go out and get that big acquisition that puts them over the hump, or what they hope puts them over the hump. At the very least, again, I know they're a division rival, but it's just so depressing to see them over the previous, before 2022. I mean, 2021, 52 wins, 2020, 25-35, which actually wasn't all that bad when you think about it. 2019, 54 wins, 2018, 47 wins, 2017, 75 wins. It's time. It's time to bring playoff baseball to the beautiful ballpark that is Camden Yards. And I think that this team has some momentum. They have a lot of excellent young players on the rise, led by Adley Rutschman, who, there's people out there saying that he might garner MVP votes this season, depending on how things go. Grayson Rodriguez, I know we don't like the prospect hug, but he could make the opening day roster. You have, and we mentioned this week, how the Rays have fewer games against the AL East. Well, so do the Orioles. So maybe that helps them in some respect. They have a legit closer in Felix Bautista. And I like that. Yeah, they, if there's one thing that gives me hesitation about the Orioles, is that they didn't go out and get, a big name or two, which I wasn't really expecting them to, but they did add a couple veteran pieces here and there. I think Adam Frazier is a solid second baseman that can provide some guidance and leadership and some help. James McCann as a complement to Adley Rutschman at the catcher position, I think could help. Maybe, Frazier and McCann are the Eric Hinsky and Cliff Floyd of the 2022 Baltimore Orioles. So that is it's bold predictions for a reason. Hey, the Orioles, they won 52 games in 2021. They won 83 in 2022, 2023. That means they should win 114 games. So no, I'm not saying that, but that turnaround, man, that's got to do something for you. That has to have some innate help to. We're only a couple wins away from making the dance. We can do this. Hey, we got Adley Rutschman, young superstar. Hey, look at what Santander did. We have some veterans on the team, and Cedric Mullins. Ryan Mountcastle's a pretty good player. Austin Hayes is a pretty good player. This team can show you some things.
That lineup is really good, and if
it's a better lineup than the Rays. I mean, we can say that they'll have a better offense than the Rays in 2023.
And that wouldn't be that bold, would it?
No.
They were 3 games away from having the record that the Rays did. So let's just put that in perspective. And I know Rays fans that never want to say anything negative about the team are going to just say injuries, whatever. Did the Orioles not have injuries? Well, not as meaningful. It doesn't matter. They play the game, man. 3 games difference. So I do like your bold prediction. I do agree with you that having the same teams go to the dance all the time gets boring. And more competitive teams should be the aim for every league in sports. You don't want, the Orioles being in the tank for 7 years. That's not right. That's up to them, obviously, to do better, but they did better. They did better last year. That bullpen was quite incredible. Can they do that again? That's going to be my biggest question about the Orioles this year. Can they do the same thing with the pitching that they did last year? Obviously, moving the fence back and upping the height of said fence, that helped. But I would watch out for the pitching. But definitely they have the offensive production there to make some noise. And like you said, the fact that they're not playing 19 games against the Jays, the Rays, the Red Sox, and the Yankees is definitely going to help them. It's definitely going to help them. They in any other division, the Orioles last year would be 1 or 2. They would be benefited by playing against lower competition, which they will this year. So that's I agree that I would like the Orioles to be good. Now the problem is, Kevin, that now let's play your scenario. The Baltimore Orioles are going to the playoffs in 2023. Who is not making the dance?
It could mean the Rays.
It could mean the Rays. It could mean the Rays. I would say, just because I don't want to, I would say maybe the Jays are the disappointment. Maybe the offensive downtick from all the trades and acquisitions that they did. Maybe that hurts them. The pitching doesn't quite live up to expectations from the Jays, but I don't know, man.
Now, could you have all 4? Could you have 4 teams from the AL East make the playoffs?
Essentially, you
have the 3 division winners and 3 wild cards. So
you could.
It could happen.
I mean, that would be very that would be really fun, and that would basically prove to everybody yet again that the AL East is the best division in MLB. But it would be very tough. It would be very tough. But I think it could be made because of the scheduling, right? The scheduling would possibly allow the Rays and company to just feast on everybody else. That would be fun.
Yeah. The AL East is to MLB what the SEC is to college football. Maybe not to that extent, but you get my drift there. Okay. I'm getting to some comments, bold prediction comments from the listeners out there. John says, Pirates finish 2nd in the Central. Brandon Lau leads the league in homers. Blake Snell gets Cy Young votes. Dodgers don't make the playoffs. Matt Germain says Cards finish 3rd in the NL Central. The Diamondbacks and Pirates finish above 500. The Texas Rangers are tops in the AL West, and the Blue Jays miss the playoffs. And then Alex Mullen says Jordan wins the Triple Crown in 2023. Ulises, out of all those comments and predictions there, what do you think is most likely? And if you want me to run through them again, I can.
I could see the Diamondbacks finishing above 500. I could see that. I could see that. Again, they would be benefited by not having to play the Dodgers and the Padres however many times that they have to. And they're a better team now. They're a better team than they have been, and they've shown some promise. So I think the Diamondbacks finishing above 500 is not so crazy. I do think it's insane, Chris, that Brandon Lau would lead the league in home runs. I think that is as bold as you possibly could get. So you got the assignment. It's to be bold, and that is definitely very, very bold.
Yeah. Aaron Judge would like a word. Mike Trout would like a word. Jordan Alvarez would like a word. Although, having said all that,
Otani would like a word.
Yeah, a lot of guys would like a word. But really, Brandon Lau, not saying he's going to do this, but if he hit 39 home runs, really all it would take is an injury or 2 at the top. Judge goes down with an injury, Trout goes down with an injury, and then you're right there. But it takes a lot more than that for that to work out. So yes, I would. It is a bold prediction, and we appreciate that. I do. That is not something I would bet upon on Bet Online.
How about you? Which one of those do you think could possibly happen?
I was thinking of what Alex Mullins had to say of Jordan winning the Triple Crown in 2023. I mean, he's not that far off. I mean, what did he put forth this past season? He hit 306 with 37 homers and 97 RBIs. And I know he's never going to hit 60 homers in a season like Aaron Judge. But again, Aaron Judge, one injury, and that can change the entire complexion of the league. Or of
and
that
it
race.
doesn't. And just because Aaron just hit 62, that doesn't mean that should be the expected output. I know Yankee fans now think that that's because Yankee fans work that way, and most fans do. Oh, that's going to be 62. That's not what we're expecting from Aaron. No, that was historic. And if it's historic, that means that it doesn't happen every day. So I do think the Rays fandom has done that a little bit with Brendan Lau. He hit 39, so they're just expecting Brendan Lau to just hit 40 bombs every year.
There's a lot of love for the Rangers winning the AL West, which I really don't know what to think about it. I mean, all I think of when I hear the Texas Rangers is, spending a lot of money and not really getting a lot of output this past season, but just what Nate Lowe has done for them. I mean, he was legitimately like one of the best sluggers in the second half last season, and it just a little bit of seller's remorse there of that. We need a first baseman that can put up those types of numbers. Where is he? And Nate Lowe is right there.
And from the left side too. And they just wanted Ji-Man Choi. They prefer the defense and offensive combination of Ji-Man Choi than the defensive and offensive output for Nate Lowe. Maybe they never thought Nate Lowe or Nathaniel Lowe would become this guy. Maybe they just didn't believe it. And so, which kind of makes me a little bit weary of selling low on Josh Lowe, because if the brother has this talent, like maybe we should be a little bit more patient with Josh Lowe, people.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point, because I mean, Josh Lowe or Nate Lowe didn't really find his footing until 2021 with the Texas Rangers, and maybe it was just a case of I need to go to a place where I basically have the job and I get to play every day, as opposed to
most guys need that mess. Most guys need that,
Exactly. All right, so there it is for bold predictions. Now, it being a Friday episode, we also have baseball trivia and Name That War. My baseball trivia question, Ulises, does have to pertain to home runs and second baseman. I have in front of me a list of 10 second basemen who have hit 250 home runs or more in their career. I need you to name 5 of those gentlemen.
Jeff Kent.
Jeff Kent is the clubhouse leader with 377.
Craig Biggio.
Craig Biggio, Hall of Famer, by the way, is 4th on the list with 291.
Alomar.
Roberto Alomar is not on this list. Strike 1.
Damn. 250. Okay, let me do some quick math. Does Jose Altuve have enough? Let me see. If he's been in the league for like 10 years, he's averaged like 20. That'd be 200. Nah, but he's gone over 20 a few times. But it just seems like he wouldn't hit 250. I'm going to go Jose Altuve.
Jose Altuve is not on this list. Strike 2.
Damn. Am I looking at any active players on the list?
Active players. Maybe one, but you should be focusing on Hall of Famers or retired players.
Robinson Cano.
All very good players. Robinson Cano is on this list. That was the one I was iffy about. 335 home runs. So you have 3 correct, 2 strikes. I need 2 more of the 10 names.
Oh, man. Nah, this one you got me. I'm thinking, okay, Hall of Famers, second base Hall of Famers.
Now, not all of them are Hall of Famers, but there's a good number.
Okay. Damn. Who's that Detroit Tiger from like the 80s? No. Second baseman. Pittsburgh Orioles. No.
And no, Luis Castillo is not on this list.
Florida Marlins legend is not on this list.
I mean, he kind of is a Florida Marlins legend, actually.
He
All joking
really
aside.
is.
Yeah.
He really is. Mets, Phillies. Who was that? Chase Utley? Does Chase Utley make it? Chase Utley
is correct. He is number 7 on the list with 259 dingers.
Okay, baby. We're in the game. Let's go through. Okay, White Sox. Second baseman for White Sox. No. Royals. No. Wait. Royals. No, George Brett was third. Paul Molitor? Was Paul Molitor second base? Or short? No. Not Paul Molitor. I think he has the numbers, but I don't know if he played enough second base, or did he play second base? Robin Yount? What did Robin Yount play? Man, I'm struggling here.
I'm sorry?
I'm struggling. I'm going to go with...
Need a name. Need a nombre. Who?
Paul Molitor.
Paul Molitor.
I don't know if he even played
is
second
not
base.
on this list. Strike 3. You were so close. I'll run through the top 10 here. Jeff Kent, you got correct. Robinson Cano, you got correct. Somebody named Rogers Hornsby is on this list with 301. Craig Biggio, you got correct. We've talked about this guy. I think we dedicated like a full episode to this guy. Ryan Sandberg, 282 home runs, Hall of Famer. Joe Morgan, Hall of Famer, 268 dingers. Chase Utley, you got correct. Number 8, he was a stud during Chase Utley's era, and you've watched many games of this guy. Ian Kinsler, 257 home runs. Somebody named Joe Gordon, who's in the Hall of Fame, who I've never heard of, played old timer. And then number 10, Brett Boone with 252 home runs.
Okay, I should have gotten a couple of those. However, to my defense, can I tell you that Paul Molitor did play second base, and he did have 234 home runs. So I do want to say that.
Is no, you were on the right track. He just needed another 13, 14, 15 more, and he would have made this list.
Yeah, I know. It's a shame. Okay, that was a really good question, though. Really good question.
Thank you.
Really good. Okay, so for Name That War, which is where we take a player from the past and we try to go into our mind, into our baseball archives, and guess what their career war is based on Baseball Reference. This player today will be Freddie Sanchez. What is Freddie Sanchez's career war according to Baseball Reference?
Well, tell me if I'm right here. He played for the Pirates and the Giants, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
He was primarily a second baseman?
Yep.
Okay. Well, I guess we're just all over second baseman on trivia. Name That War today.
I guess so.
He must
middle
have
infield.
won...
I mean, he moved around, but
okay.
Yeah, he played second base, but he also
won
around.
At least one ring. Correct.
I don't know if I can tell you that. But yes, he did.
Okay. I know that he was on that short-lived Showtime show. Oh, what was it called? The Franchise.
So
that
good.
Featured the Giants and the Marlins. Yeah, it was terrific. And really, if baseball wanted to do themselves a favor and get some publicity a la Hard Knocks for the NFL, you would keep doing that. But the league doesn't quite know how to market itself to its potential. But they still make billions upon billions of dollars, so I don't know if they care. Freddie Sanchez, Man, I think he
Mhm.
was just a solid player. Had to play at least a decade in the league. I don't know if he ever made an All-Star appearance. If he did, like maybe 1, 2 at the most. I'm gonna just kind of a slash line that's percolating in my head here. Probably like 274 career average. He probably had like 130 homers. Might have had like 100 stolen bases. I don't know if he won a Gold Glove or not, but all that said, I'm going to say he put together a career WAR of 23.
You really liked Freddie
Oh,
Sanchez on this.
wow.
I will say he did not have over 100 stolen bases. He actually had 13 in his
Phew.
career. He did not have over 100 home runs. He had 48 home runs.
Wow.
He was a batting champ. He won it in 2006, which was the first year of 3 years where he was an all-star. He won it with 344. His career line was a 297, 335, 413. That's a 748 OPS, a 98 OPS plus, and his career WAR, according to Baseball Reference, is 15.8. 15.8.
Not bad. Not bad career. I was off the mark and gave him a little bit too much credit. I don't know why I had such high aspirations of Freddie Sanchez, but
Me too, though.
that is
Me too.
yeah.
I was surprised. I was like 15. I thought he was really, really solid, but I guess just solid.
Hey, well, he'll take it. I'm sure he made millions upon millions of dollars in his career. He has those multiple All-Star appearances. He has that ring. He has, I would think, everything he pretty much needs. He was on that TV show too, so he's got that going for him. So
Batting title, World Series, 3-time All-Star, pretty good career. And you want to take a gander at how much money he made in his career, according to Baseball Reference?
I'd say like 30 million.
You'd be right on the money. 32.1. Very nice.
Wow.
Great career,
Crazy.
man. Good for you, Freddie.
Yeah, good for you, Freddie. And here's what I want to know: who hit more home runs in their career, Freddie Sanchez or Luis Castillo? I would say even Freddie Sanchez still hit more home runs. In his career.
I would think Freddie Sanchez takes that, but just by a smidge.
But Luis Castillo has the higher career WAR.
I believe so. Yeah, has to be.
Absolutely.
Yep, he does.
All right. That might have to be the next name that WAR, Luis Castillo. So nobody looked that up. Thank you for making the Locked On Rays podcast your very first listen every day. Now make your second listen, the Locked On MLB Prospects podcast. That is also free and available on all platforms. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay safe, and we will talk to you next week.